Hey, Tim Frisch with A Frisch Perspective. If you like Christian nerdy content and like to talk about things like Bible translation and other Christian issues, subscribe to this channel and hit that bell notification so that you know when I upload a new video. In this video, I wanted to talk about a discussion that people are having concerning the Legacy Standard Bible and how it is translating the Old Testament word or name for God as Yahweh. So in the Old Testament, in the Legacy Standard Bible, when traditionally you would see in English translations the capital L-O-R-D, all in capital letters for the name of God, in the Legacy Standard Bible, that is going to be translated as Yahweh. The name of God will be translated as it is in the Hebrew. And so that, in many people's minds, is a good thing. That's one of the things that's being touted in favor of this translation. And I wanted to talk about this because, first of all, I think that it's perfectly acceptable and even has good aspects to it to translate the name of God in that way. I've talked about this before, even talked about how should we pronounce the name of God and kind of tackled that issue a little bit. One of my concerns, though, is that people will sometimes take a good thing and they will go too far with it. And I noticed even today on my channel, I had a comment of someone basically saying that it was a really dumb decision for modern English translations to translate the name of God as capital L-O-R-D, Lord. So my concern is that we can become condescending toward other translations and even superioristic in the view that we have of our translation. And that just kind of divides us further as Christians if we're not careful. And that person's comment actually got me kind of curious, or curious, just a little nerdy humor there, a little bit curious about how does the Legacy Standard Bible deal with the name of God in the New Testament when the New Testament quotes the Old Testament. So I looked up some examples from the book of Mark in the Legacy Standard Bible because they do have the book of Mark available on their website. And in Mark 12, you see a couple examples here of how they translate God, the name of God, in the New Testament when it's quoting the Old Testament. And this doesn't surprise me. The first one here in Mark 12:29, Jesus answered, "The foremost is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord." If you look at this in the Greek, it does actually say here, the Lord, and this is Jesus quoting Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4, but he says kurios for the word Lord there. But actually in Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4, if you look at the Hebrew there, it is Jehovah. So Jesus is using the word Lord for the name of God, and that is what the Jews at that time were doing. And even the Greek translation of that time used the word Lord for the name of God. It happens again here in Mark chapter 12, verse 36 in the Legacy Standard Bible. David himself said in the Holy Spirit, and this is Jesus talking, "The Lord said to my Lord." So again, this is a quote from the Old Testament, Psalm 110. If you look at the Greek of this verse where Jesus is speaking here, he does use the word kurios, or Lord, for the name of God, and he's quoting the Old Testament here. But in the Hebrew, the original language of the Old Testament, it was Jehovah or Yahweh, when David here is saying Yahweh, or the Lord, said unto my Lord. So I think that the Legacy Standard Bible did the right thing there. It's simply translating what we read in the New Testament. The New Testament Greek does use the term Lord, and so the Legacy Standard Bible translates it that way. But I just find that fascinating because you have these quotes from the Old Testament in the Legacy Standard Bible that actually use the term L-O-R-D, Lord, but then when you go back to the Old Testament in the Legacy Standard Bible, it will be Yahweh. Now, actually, what they're doing there is perfectly acceptable. It's fine. I think there are good aspects to that. But I think it just shows you that we can sometimes have an attitude about situations like this that we need to take a step back and really look at the big picture and be careful about being condescending or, again, superioristic about our views on translation. The fact is that, yes, the Jews even before the New Testament times, so regarded the name of God that they stopped pronouncing his name. And so in their translation, in the Greek, they actually use the word Lord. But more important to us as Christians is that the early Christians, even in the Bible itself, use the term Lord for the name of God. So I don't think that's wrong or a bad thing to use Lord for the name of God. I think there's precedent for that even in the Bible itself. But obviously the Old Testament Hebrew scriptures do use the term Yahweh for God. And so that is perfectly acceptable and good to translate it in that way as well. My main point, though, is just for us not to become really condescending and divisive about issues like this. And to realize that a lot of times when we get into a discussion, we kind of look at it from one particular angle. And then when you actually look at the big picture, you see, wow, there are different layers and angles to the topic that we're looking at. And I think that's true with this discussion of how do we translate the name of God. So I just wanted to share some of those ideas with you. I'd love to hear what you think in the comments below. Just try to keep those comments positive and edifying to discussion. But thank you so much for taking some time to listen to some of my thoughts from a Frisch Perspective.